Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into a new technology, and
Oh, this one's pretty wild.
it is pretty wild. The article we're looking at today is called "Miniature Whirlpools: A New Weapon Against Dangerous Viruses," and it was published by Duke University.
Just a few days ago.
Yeah, just a few days ago on January 20th, 2025.
Keeping it current.
So, now, I don't know about you, but when I first saw this title, I was picturing these like tiny little whirlpools just like sucking up viruses, like some kind of sci-fi movie.
It's a very striking image.
It really is. It's
The science behind it is really interesting.
okay.
These microscopic whirlpools, or they call them glowing vortexes in the article, are created with precisely tuned vibrations.
Okay.
And it's a really cool application of acoustofluidics.
Acoustofluidics
Yeah, basically we're just using sound waves to manipulate fluids.
at a microscopic level.
At a microscopic level, that's right.
So how do these whirlpools actually help us fight viruses?
So imagine like a microscopic sieve
Okay.
that can sort particles by their size. Okay.
These whirlpools are able to separate out larger particles, like cells and bacteria, from much smaller ones, like viruses and antibodies.
So it's like purifying the sample.
Exactly. By removing the larger particles, we can concentrate the viruses and the antibodies, making them easier to detect.
That's really cool. I can see how that would be a huge advantage for diagnostic tests.
Huge, huge advantage. It could lead to much faster, more accurate, and more efficient testing for a wide range of diseases.
So faster, more accurate. Does that mean like minutes instead of days for results?
Potentially, yeah. Current diagnostic methods rely on growing cultures or these complex chemical reactions,
Right.
which can take days or even weeks to get the results back.
Wow.
And with this new technology, we could potentially get results in a fraction of the time.
That would be amazing, especially in a pandemic situation where rapid testing is crucial.
Absolutely. It would be a game changer. And it's not limited to viruses either.
Oh, really?
It could potentially be used to detect a wide range of pathogens, including bacteria and parasites.
So it's like a universal diagnostic tool. Potentially, yeah. They believe that this technology is a key step towards developing a single-chip diagnostic device.
Like a pregnancy test, but for...
Exactly. Like a home pregnancy test, but for all sorts of illnesses.
That's incredible. It'd be like having a mini lab in your pocket.
Precisely. This device could detect both viral RNA and a wide range of antibodies, all on a single chip.
Imagine the possibilities for point-of-care diagnostics.
Especially in like remote areas or developing countries.
Exactly. That's right. Could be revolutionary.
This could be revolutionary for global healthcare.
It really could be.
Yeah.
But it is important to remember that this is very early stage research.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as exciting as this sounds, I'm sure there are still challenges ahead.
There are always challenges.
Yeah.
One of the biggest is scalability.
Okay.
Can we produce these miniature whirlpool devices on a large enough scale to meet global demand?
That's a great point.
And then, of course, there's the question of cost.
Right.
Will these devices be affordable and accessible to everyone, or will they only be available to those who can afford them? Yeah, accessibility is definitely something to consider, especially when it comes to new medical technologies. We wouldn't want this to widen the gap in healthcare disparities.
Absolutely not.
So who are the people working on this? Can you tell us more about the research team behind this?
Yeah, so the research was led by Tony Junhuang. He's a distinguished professor of mechanical engineering and materials science at Duke University,
Oh, wow.
and his acoustofluidics lab.
So they're the ones making these miniature whirlpools a reality.
They are. For anyone who wants to dive deeper into the science behind this, the full research paper was published in Science Advances
Wow.
on January 15th, 2025.
So just very recently,
Very recently.
they're really at the forefront of this field.
It seems that way.
Makes you wonder what other discoveries are out there.
It really does.
But let's bring it back to this innovation. How could this actually impact people's lives?
Imagine a world where you could go to the doctor's office or even just use a device at home and get tested for a whole bunch of diseases in just minutes.
Oh, wow.
No more waiting days or weeks for those lab results.
That would be incredible,
Yeah.
especially for anyone dealing with like a mysterious illness
Mhm.
or like worried about a potential outbreak.
Exactly. And think about what that could mean for pandemic preparedness. With rapid, accurate testing, we could potentially detect and contain these outbreaks much faster,
Yeah.
preventing them from becoming global pandemics.
It sounds almost too good to be true. Are there any downsides or any concerns we should be thinking about with this technology?
Well, As with any powerful tool, there are always potential risks.
Right.
For example, we need to make sure that these devices are accurate and reliable.
Okay.
False positives or negatives could lead to misdiagnosis and inappropriate treatment.
Yeah, we wouldn't want people getting the wrong treatment or panicking unnecessarily.
Exactly. Another important consideration is data privacy. These devices will generate a lot of personal health information.
That's true.
So we need to make sure that that data is protected and used responsibly.
Data privacy is a big deal these days. And rightfully so. It's crucial to have safeguards in place to prevent that misuse of sensitive information.
But shifting gears a bit, what excites you the most about this research?
For me, it's the potential to really democratize healthcare.
Okay.
Imagine a world where anyone, regardless of where they live or their income, could have access to rapid, accurate diagnostic testing.
Yeah.
That would be transformative, especially in developing countries where access to healthcare is often limited.
I love that. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we can use it to really improve people's lives on a global scale.
Exactly. And this research is a great example of how innovation can drive positive social change.
Absolutely. But realistically, there are bound to be challenges in bringing this to market and making it widely available.
Of course. Beyond the scalability and costs that we've already talked about, there are also regulatory hurdles to overcome.
Right.
New medical devices always have to go through rigorous testing and approval processes before they can be used clinically.
I imagine that process can be quite lengthy. It can be, but it's important to ensure that any new medical technology is safe and effective before it's made available to the public.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how long do you think it'll be before we see these miniature Whirlpool devices in hospitals or clinics?
It's hard to say for sure, but given the rapid pace of progress in this field, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some pilot programs or clinical trials within the next few years.
Wow, that's sooner than I expected. It sounds like we're on the verge of a major breakthrough in medical diagnostics.
I think we are, and this is just one example of the many exciting advancements happening in the field of acousto-fluidics.
Now, there's a word I haven't heard before.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for us? What exactly is acousto-fluidics, and what are some of its other potential applications?
Sure. Acoustofluidics is a pretty new field that combines acoustics, the study of sound, with microfluidics, which is manipulating tiny amounts of fluids.
Okay.
So essentially, we're using sound waves to control and manipulate fluids at a microscopic level.
So it's like using sound as a tiny invisible hand.
Yeah. A great analogy. And the applications go way beyond just diagnostics.
Oh, wow.
Acoustofluidics is being explored for things like drug delivery, cell manipulation, and even environmental monitoring.
Wow. So it has the potential to impact a lot of different industries.
It really does. And this is still a relatively young field.
Yeah.
So I think we've only just begun to explore what's possible.
It's mind-boggling to think about the potential of this technology. We started with the image of miniature whirlpools, like sucking up viruses. Now we're talking about manipulating cells and delivering drugs with sound waves. It's like something out of Star Trek.
It's pretty remarkable, and it really shows the power of scientific curiosity in investing in basic research. You never know what groundbreaking discoveries might emerge.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
But let's circle back to the miniature whirlpools and their potential to change how we detect diseases.
Okay.
We've discussed how these tiny whirlpools, created with these precisely tuned vibrations, offer a really new way to analyze these biological samples.
Right.
And they can separate the larger particles, like the cells and bacteria, from the smaller ones, like the viruses and antibodies.
Right.
And that allows us to purify and concentrate these biomarkers that we need for testing.
Exactly.
So it's not just about the speed of the test, it's also about the accuracy and the ability to detect even tiny amounts of a virus.
Precisely. And that could have a huge impact on how we diagnose, treat, and prevent disease.
It's really amazing to think about the potential ripple effects of this one discovery. Really shows how advancements in science can impact all parts of our lives.
Absolutely. Sometimes the smallest discoveries can lead to the biggest breakthroughs.
Speaking of breakthroughs, I want to hear your thoughts on the bigger picture. Where do you see this going in the future?
Well, I think we've only just started to see what's possible with miniature whirlpools in medical diagnostics.
Yeah.
One area I'm excited about is personalized medicine.
Okay.
Imagine using this technology to analyze someone's blood or saliva, and then creating a treatment plan just for them,
Well,
based on their genes and their specific illness.
that sounds like the future of healthcare.
I think it is. Moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach
Right.
to use something that's truly individualized. And with how fast genomics and artificial intelligence are advancing, I think personalized medicine is closer than we think.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So if we had to sum up this deep dive, what would be the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think it's that these miniature whirlpools made with acoustifluidics are going to change how we diagnose and treat diseases.
Yeah.
They're faster, more accurate, and more efficient, and they really open up the possibilities for personalized medicine and point-of-care diagnostics.
And it could make healthcare more accessible around the world.
It really could.
This is an exciting time to be following all of this.
It is, it is.
And as always, we encourage all our listeners to stay curious and keep exploring.
There's always something new to discover.
That's all for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this journey to learn about miniature whirlpools. We'll see you next time. Keep those minds churning.